Well, that game sucked. But here I am, I'm gonna go over it. And boy, where do I begin? Well, I guess I'll start with the first half. And I'm gonna ask a few questions. And I want you to answer them out loud. Do you think it is good to give your opponents 21 unanswered points in the first half? No. Okay. Do you think it is good to allow 299 rushing yards? No. Okay. Do you think it is good to have your opponent have nearly 40 minutes of possession time? No. Okay. Do you think it is good for your opponent to have 29 first downs to your 11? No. Okay. Do you think it's good to show up in only one of the 4 quarters? No. Okay. Well, someone needs to tell that to the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I don't know what it was I watched last night, but it was bad. I am recording this the morning after the game. Like, literally all I've done is wake up, take a shower, get dressed, and then I came straight here. But I don't know what it was I watched last night, but that was genuinely maybe the worst first half I've ever seen this team play. And I've seen this team play a lot of bad first halves. Okay, where do I begin? Not gonna lie, this one... this one hurts. And it doesn't hurt for the same reason as previous years. This one hurts. This offseason, we completely revamped the quarterback room, trade Pickett, Rudolph goes to free agency, bring in Russell Wilson, trade for Justin Fields. We completely revamped the linebackers room, bring in Patrick Queen. It was supposed to be different. We invest so much capital in the offensive line, and investing, I think, 3 of our first 4 picks in offensive line. And yet, still not good enough. I think that's why this one especially stings. And it doesn't help that it was to the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers really laid down a complete goose egg, especially in the first half. Oh my god, that first half. I went to the bathroom at halftime. I'm pretty sure my urine had more life in it than the Steelers in the first half. So, if it's the same thing in years past, what needs to change? Well, for starters, the Steelers, I believe, have $52 million in cap space, which is a ton of money. Who's coming back? Who needs to stay? I will get to the coaching staff in a minute. Well, most of our big free agents Dante Jackson, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. I will get to those two specifically later. Landon Roberts, Najee. Cam Sutton, Dan Moore, Jaylen Warren, who is an RFA. He's an RFA. But man. Mike Williams, I didn't mention. James Daniels, I didn't mention. Who's coming back? Who's staying? I don't know, man. I think Russell Wilson, I think he's gone. I think if you ask me today, on January 12th, 2025 at 6:29 a.m., I think, as of right now, the Steelers' opening day starting quarterback for 2025, I think it's going to be Justin Fields. I really do. I think they're going to let Russell walk. I think they hit his ceiling with him, man. I think the 5 straight losses did him in as a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think they're willing to give Fields another chance. But who knows what kind of contract he comes back on. But we'll see. I think Najee's gone, which is a shame. You know, I really like Najee. I do like Najee. I think he's a solid running back. You know, he has yet to not hit 1,000 yards. And, you know, his averages the past 2 seasons have been 4 yards a carry, at least. And that's all I really ask for out of a running back. But I think Mike Williams is gone. I think Dan Moore Jr. is gone. Which, I mean, I can't even believe I'm saying this. He actually had a pretty solid year for the most part. I can't even believe I'm saying that. But Jackson, I think they'll re-sign, even though I know he led the team in interceptions, but interceptions aren't everything. He was very disappointing in coverage for the most part. But I think they bring him back. Landon Roberts, I would like to see them bring him back. I know he's at this point on the wrong side of 30, but man, he's a good run stopper. He really is. He knows how to get in there. I like him. I think he's a good compliment to Queen. Other than that, this team needs depth at wide receiver, because who knows with Pickens. I'll get to him later. Depending on what happens with Najee, this team needs a running back. This team still needs offensive line help, which I will get to later. This team needs corner. And maybe some interior line help. Maybe. Because, boy, the way we stopped the run last night was really bad. And, like, the Ravens, they weren't even doing anything fancy, man. I mean, they were just running simple run plays up the middle. And we couldn't stop it. We couldn't stop it. For whatever reason, we could not stop it. Other than that, man, I don't know. I think right now we are slated at the number 22 pick in the draft. That might change still. But man, just those. If we could have won any one of those, and not only did we lose, we kind of got crushed in 3 out of 4. If we win any of those games, we get a home playoff game, and who knows what's next. But we lost all of them, and, at the end of the day, no one to blame but the Steelers. Coaching staff. Good and bad. Arthur Smith, I will start with him. Arthur Smith was good because he wasn't Matt Canada. He was good because he wasn't Matt Canada. Now, to be clear, is good really the right word? He was fine. Alright, he was fine. He had expectations of just simply not being Matt Canada, and he was not Matt Canada. So I think for the most part, I'm okay with him. At least for now. He's gonna have to do some adjusting, but he now has a complete offseason, at least, to build the offense the way he likes. Arthur Smith is a guy that likes to run the ball. That's why we saw him bring in, Justin Fields, right? He probably said something about Justin Fields and wanting him in his system because he's a guy that can run the ball. Arthur Smith, I think, I want him to keep his job. And again, that's mainly because he's not Matt Canada. So the expectations for him were really low. Terrell Austin. Look, I'm not one to say that I want this dude fired. I'm not one to say that because I know at the end of the day, there's always that human aspect of, they gotta provide for their families and whatnot. But man, I feel like I should have the right of telling someone they're bad at their job. With that being said, I think Terrell Austin needs to go, man. There is too much talent on this defense for them to not be top 10. And boy, they have not looked like top 10. Really at all year. They had a few games at the start of the season where they looked good, i.e. the Broncos game, Chargers game, Falcons game. But man, that was genuinely week 1 against the Falcons. Kirk Cousins couldn't move. In week 2 against the Broncos, Bo Nix was still figuring it out. And in week 3 against the Chargers, Justin Herbert was hurt. And he got knocked out for the entire fourth quarter. In a lot of our losses this season, this defense has cost us. It's nearly willed us back into that game. But boy, the defense could not stop the run. Against the Cowboys, they let up a last-second drive going, I don't even remember how many yards. It was like an 80, 90-yard drive with like 2 minutes left, and they let that. Couldn't stop the run in that game either against the Cowboys, who had a terrible, terrible running offense at that time. Against the Browns, they allowed a long drive to end that game, ending in a touchdown. Against the Eagles,